Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are talking about squirrel diet.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there are so many topics we could cover about squirrels.
Yeah, I mean there's so much more to it than meets the eye.
Right.
We're going to go beyond the typical nuts and acorn stereotype and uncover really how diverse and impactful their eating habits are.
Exactly.
So get ready for some unexpected discoveries. I think you'll be surprised by what we find.
Yeah, I think people will be really surprised.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. When most people think of squirrels, they picture, them munching on acorns, maybe some nuts.
Right.
But is that the whole story?
Definitely not. So while nuts and seeds are staples for many squirrel species, they're actually far more adaptable eaters than we give them credit for.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're actually omnivores.
Omnivores.
Yeah, meaning they eat both plants and animals.
That's not what I expected.
Yeah. So that means their diets vary greatly depending on the species, their habitat, whether it's a forest or a bustling city,
Right.
and even the time of year.
It's like a seasonal menu.
Exactly. Imagine a menu that changes with the seasons. That's what squirrels have going on.
Wow. Okay, so what kind of unexpected things are we talking about here?
Well, some species, like red squirrels,
Okay.
are particularly fond of fungi and mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Yeah, it provides them with important nutrients, especially during times when other food sources are scarce.
Hmm. Interesting. What about insects? I've seen them digging around in the ground, but I'd never really considered what they were after.
Yeah, they love insects. It's like little protein bars for squirrels.
Oh.
Think mealworms, crickets, caterpillars, you name it.
Okay.
And this is especially important when they need an extra energy boost, like during breeding season.
That makes sense.
True.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. The sources mention something about squirrels being predators,
Yes.
predatory squirrels.
Yeah.
Are we talking hawks and owls here?
Not quite.
Okay.
But you're on the right track.
Okay.
They're opportunistic eaters. So if the chance arises, they'll snatch an egg or even a baby bird
Oh, wow.
right out of a nest.
Yeah, nature can be pretty brutal. I always thought of them as more herbivore leaning.
Right.
What about city squirrels? They seem to eat just about anything and everything.
You're right. Urban squirrels have adapted to human environments
Yeah?
and developed a taste for human food.
Oh, yeah.
Think bird seed leftovers, even pet food.
So they really will eat anything.
Yeah, they're not very picky.
It's almost like they've evolved into tiny garbage disposals with fluffy tails.
Right.
But on a more serious note, the sources mention something about caching behavior.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean?
So caching is that classic squirrel behavior
Yeah.
of stashing food away for later.
Okay.
It's crucial for their survival, especially during the lean winter months.
Right.
But there's more to it than just burying a nut here and there.
Oh, really?
There are actually two main strategies: scatter hoarding
Okay.
and larder hoarding.
Two different strategies.
Yes.
Okay, what's the difference?
So think of scatter hoarding
Okay.
as diversifying your investments.
Uh-huh.
Gray and fox squirrels are masters of this.
All right.
They bury nuts in tons of different spots, spreading them out to minimize the risk of losing their entire stash.
Pretty clever. What about larder hoarding?
So larder hoarding is all about concentrated storage.
Okay.
Red squirrels are the pros here,
Okay.
creating a central stash, often in a tree cavity,
Uh-huh.
which they fiercely defend from any would-be thieves.
It's like a squirrel Fort Knox, protecting their precious hoard. But how does all this caching impact the environment?
Right.
Can't just be about squirrels being prepared, right?
You're right. There's a fascinating ecological side effect: unintentional seed dispersal.
What?
Yeah, and this is especially true for those scatter hoarders.
Okay.
They bury so many nuts that they inevitably forget where some of them are.
So they're like accidental gardeners.
Exactly. Those forgotten caches can then sprout into new trees, helping forests regenerate and thrive. It's estimated that up to 60 to 80% of cached seeds are never retrieved.
That's incredible. It's like they're playing a vital role in shaping the forest, all because of their need to stash away snacks.
Right. Their dietary habits, especially this caching behavior,
Yeah.
have a huge impact on the ecosystem, shaping the landscape in ways we might not even realize.
Okay, but hold on a second. The sources also mention squirrels as seed predators. How can they be both seed dispersers and predators?
Yeah.
Isn't that a contradiction?
It's a complex relationship.
Okay.
While they help disperse seeds, they also consume a lot of them.
Okay.
Think of it as a delicate balancing act.
Okay.
Red squirrels, with their larder hoarding,
Yeah.
might actually function more as seed predators in some cases,
Oh.
since they concentrate seeds in one place.
So it's like a delicate dance between helping and hindering plant populations,
Hmm.
all driven by their need to eat.
Exactly, and it highlights how interconnected everything is in the natural world. What might seem like a simple act of a squirrel burying a nut actually has cascading effects on the entire ecosystem.
That's amazing. It's really making me see squirrels in a whole new light. We've covered a lot of ground here about their diverse diets, but how does all of this tie into their role in the larger food web? And what about the impact of those invasive gray squirrels we hear so much about? We'll explore those questions and more when we come back.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were discussing how squirrels can be both seed dispersers and seed predators, shaping the forest by what they eat.
Right, and it's amazing how something as simple as burying a nut can have such a ripple effect on the whole ecosystem. But speaking of ecosystems, let's zoom out and look at squirrels' place in the larger food web. They're not just eating, they're being eaten too, right?
Absolutely. They might be nimble and quick, but they are a tasty snack for a whole host of predators.
Oh, really?
Think hawks, owls, foxes, coyotes, bobcats, even some snakes.
Wow, that's a lot of hungry mouths to watch out for. I guess that explains why they're always so alert and darting around.
Exactly. That constant threat of predation really shapes their behavior. You'll see them constantly scanning their surroundings, using their agility and those bushy tails to evade danger.
It's like they have a sixth sense for danger,
Yeah.
always one step ahead. But it's not just about avoiding predators, right? They also have to compete with other animals for food.
You're right. It's a constant competition for resources. Think chipmunks, other squirrel species, even birds. They're all vying for those same nuts, seeds, and fruits.
It's like a never-ending game of capture the flag out there.
In a sense, yes, and some squirrels are better equipped for that game than others. Remember those invasive gray squirrels we talked about earlier?
Right, the ones that seem to be thriving in urban areas, the sources mention them being a problem.
Unfortunately, yes. Eastern gray squirrels in particular are notorious for outcompeting native species like the red squirrel.
Why are they so successful at pushing out the competition? Is it just because they're not picky eaters?
That's a big part of it. Their adaptable diet allows them to exploit a wider range of food sources. Native squirrels, on the other hand, often rely on specific foods, making them more vulnerable when those foods become scarce.
So their ability to eat almost anything gives them a competitive edge. What other impacts do gray squirrels have?
Their success comes at a cost. They can disrupt ecosystems, carry diseases that impact native species, and even damage native trees.
That's a real shame. Invasive species are rarely a good thing for biodiversity.
You're right, they highlight the importance of maintaining biodiversity and protecting native habitats.
So we've talked about squirrels as prey and competitors, but what other impacts do they have on the environment aside from seed dispersal? Are there other ways they influence the ecosystem?
Absolutely, their impact goes far beyond just seeds. Remember how we talked about some species being excellent burrowers?
Right, especially those ground squirrel variety.
They're like little ecosystem engineers constantly digging and burrowing, which has a surprising effect on soil health.
So how does all that digging benefit the environment? Is it more than just creating shelter?
Think of it like their burrows aerate the soil, allowing water and nutrients to penetrate more easily. It's like they're giving the ground a good deep tissue massage.
And that's beneficial for plant life.
Absolutely, it improves soil health and promotes plant growth. Plus, those burrows can provide shelter for other animals, increasing biodiversity in the area.
It's like a chain reaction of positive impacts, all stemming from a squirrel's need to dig.
And their insect-eating habits also play a role in maintaining balance by consuming insects. They help control pest populations, which can benefit both natural areas and even our gardens.
They're like tiny pest control agents scurrying around keeping things in check. I'm starting to see them as unsung heroes of the ecosystem.
They even might be helping spread fungal spores through their foraging, which contributes to forest health. It's like they're little gardeners spreading the seeds of fungi that benefit the trees.
Wow, I never realized squirrels were so interconnected with their environment. Everything they do seems to have a ripple effect.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Their seemingly simple lives actually play a crucial role in the complex web of life.
It's definitely changed my perspective on squirrels. I used to think they were just cute, furry creatures scampering around, but now I see them as these vital, influential members of the ecosystem. We've covered so much about tree squirrels, from their diverse diets to their impact on forests. But what about their ground-dwelling cousins? Are their diets and ecological roles much different?
That's a great question. And yes, there are some key distinctions between ground squirrels and tree squirrels, often driven by their dietary preferences and the environments they inhabit.
Well, I'm eager to learn more. Let's dive into the world of ground squirrels and uncover the unique roles they play when we come back. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Before the break, we were just starting to explore the world of ground squirrels. I'm really curious to learn how their diets and ecological roles differ from their tree-dwelling relatives.
Well, you might be surprised to learn that their diet plays a big part in shaping the landscape they live in.
Okay, so what are ground squirrels munching on down there? Are they still nuts about nuts, or is it a different menu?
While they do enjoy some nuts and seeds, ground squirrels tend to incorporate more grasses and vegetation into their diet compared to the nut-loving tree squirrels. They're also big fans of roots, seeds, and fruits found closer to the ground.
Makes sense. They're working with what's available in their habitat. But how does this difference in diet translate into a different ecological role?
Remember those burrows we talked about earlier? Ground squirrels are the champions of digging, and their constant burrowing has a huge impact on grassland ecosystems.
So they're essentially tilling the soil and keeping things healthy, like tiny furry tractors.
You could say that their burrows aerate the soil, improve water infiltration, and help cycle nutrients. It's like they're constantly churning and enriching the earth, making it more fertile for plant life.
Wow, they're like miniature farmers who knew that a squirrel's appetite could have such a profound effect on the landscape.
It really highlights the interconnectedness of everything in nature. Even seemingly small creatures like squirrels play a vital role in shaping their environment.
We've learned so much about squirrels today, from their diverse diets and caching strategies to their roles as prey competitors and even ecosystem engineers. It's amazing how much impact these often overlooked creatures have on the world around us.
I think it's a great reminder that every creature, no matter how small, has a purpose and contributes to the intricate web of life.
Absolutely. Well, I think this has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of squirrel diets. It really makes you appreciate the complexity and the interconnectedness of nature and how even the smallest creatures can play such vital roles. Thanks for joining us.
It was my pleasure. Always happy to share the wonders of the natural world.